In the last 10 years, if you were looking for top-end gaming peripherals, you might not have first thought of the name ASUS, but that might be changing. ASUS sponsored this video and sent us over 5 of their Harpe mice. One of them's actually a Keras, including the Harpe 2 Ace Demon1 edition. This is not the box you will get at your house, unfortunately. This is like an influencer box, but it includes this brand new mouse that is designed by champions and is kind of their competitor in the high end for like top tier gaming mice. And if the specs and our initial labs report are anything to go by, this might be a contender, a real contender from ASUS. This is actually a really cool box. I want to spend more time in here. If you want to see more ASUS mouse products, let us know in the comments down below. They even have kind of a sizing chart and sort of grip style thing, which would make me think that I want the Harpe Ace Mini. But that's not what we're talking about today. Screw that, get out of here. We're talking purple, baby. Demon1. You thought I was an angel. Turns out I'm a devil. In love with a demon. This is called the Demon1 edition because it was designed in conjunction with Demon1, who's a Valorant pro, as well as other esports pros to kind of design the shape. What makes this one special is obviously the color and the styling, but also the bio-based nylon shell that differentiates it from like the Aim Labs edition that we could talk about at a different time. But that means that this is supposed to be repellent to kind of hand grease, which is nice because this is a beautiful color, but I think that if they don't put the work and the design in, it could be pretty nasty looking. It's got a pretty nice premium feel. It's sort of got that velvety, luxurious feel without being too rubbery, so I don't think it will degrade. I think it'll hold up quite well. You can feel the print of the Demon1, which I don't think is a big deal. Your finger will rest and be there. But I worry about where, kind of especially where your finger will land, depending on how you do it. And the way my hand lands on it, I'm right on the 1, so mine's just gonna be Demon. It'll no longer be a Demon1. You know what I mean? ASUS designed this to be both a fingertip and claw type grip mouse, which I can see that working. For me, it's definitely lands more in the claw, which puts my fingers right on the edge. But the buttons do feel good even right at the back. I think I could definitely use the mouse like this. They're using the ROG exclusive optical buttons that are rated for 100 million clicks. They feel pretty good, they're quite clicky. Fairly consistent, although at the front it's a little more travel, which is pretty fine because it's still very clicky and responsive right at the back. Scroll wheel, very reminiscent of a G Pro style. It's clicky. It's not designed for scrolling through a million data items. It's designed for scrolling through your inventory, although I'm a big fan of using numbers on the keyboard to do that. It's also the only RGB on this mouse, which is either a positive or a negative depending on your opinion. I'm the RGB hater. If there's one RGB hater left on this world, it is me. And if there's none left, I am dead. But you know what, that's pretty cool. I don't hate it, especially because it feels pretty good. I am not a hater of that amount of RGB. I am also not a hater of side buttons. The way I claw grip it, these buttons are a little far forward for me. If I had slightly bigger hands and I was more palming it, I think they would land in a better spot. So these is very personal preference kind of thing. For me, slightly forward, but not deal breaker, nothing like that. On the front, we have our Type-C port. It is not recessed, which I'm a big fan of. On this side, we just have the Ace branding, not Harpe 2 Ace, which is interesting. Also, that's 3 lines, that's not 2. Get with the program, you know what I'm saying? On the bottom, we have our glide skates with their proprietary 2.5D edges to make them smoother. It's a decent amount of glide space. Glide experience is very good. We also have glide pads around the sensor, which is pretty standard these days. I dig it. The glide experience is also extra smooth because it is a 48-gram mouse, which is on the lighter side. It is not the lightest mouse of all time, but it is definitely lighter than most gaming mice. And that's an especially impressive weight count because it's not a perforated body, it's solid. I know a lot of people don't care about that, but I like the solid body mice, and so the fact that it is this light is a pretty impressive feat of engineering. Back to the bottom, we have our tri-mode switch, Bluetooth, wired, and the dongle mode. We have our DPI switch and our pairing button. I feel like if you're gonna have your DPI button on the bottom, it's almost not even worth having, but to each their own. We also have a little slot for our dongle, which I'm a big fan of. The last thing on the bottom is the ROG Aimpoint Pro sensor. It's a pretty impressive sensor specs-wise with 42,000 DPI, 750 IPS, and 50 Gs of acceleration force. Those last two are kind of the more important ones. But it also has track on glass technology, I think lots of gamers have desk pads, but you might not. And that sensor pairs nicely with the 8K polling rate on this mouse. Your mileage may vary. I think that 1000 hertz polling rate is adequate for most people. But if you're someone that's really chasing the cutting edge of gaming performance, 8K is a great feature to have. And if you want to get extra battery life, you can take it down to 1000 anyway and get like 100 hours with this thing. That's pretty good for a freaking mouse this light. Man, I'm really excited to try this thing. Let's plug it in and see how it does. Oh, what a treat. There's no software to download. You just go right to the gearlink.asus.com website, automatically detect my mouse, even using the wireless dongle, because there's a lot of mice you have to plug in to configure. Big fan of this, especially after the nightmare that has been several of the mice we've unboxed recently. I've downloaded the software, I've connected the mouse. No, continue pairing, I want to pair. Why do I need advertisements for more products inside of my? We can set our 5 profiles, which is interesting because I don't see a profile switch button, but maybe there's a combination. The first option is our button assignment. We can assign buttons to do different things, which I do not want to do. But we also have our hotkey instructions, which we have all our different functions that we might want to do. It's kind of neat to have it all very clear. Profile switch hotkey. Press the DPI button and scroll wheel simultaneously. So you can switch profiles just using the mouse. So you make your profile, save it to the mouse. That's great. Next, we have our speed shift settings, which seem to basically assign a button to get your mouse in top performance mode, get everything cranked all the way. I don't really want to do that. I want to leave everything manual. Next, we have our performance settings where we can change our DPI. We can also remove the ones we're not going to use. So if you know you only want to switch between 400 and 800, you could just have those two. It looks like you have to have 2 to switch between, although presumably you could set them to be the same. Yeah, so you can kind of trick it that way. If you only want to have 1 DPI, I know I want 800 when I'm testing. That's good. I can turn on and off angle snapping, bye-bye. I can change my polling rate, and then I can turn on and off motion sync, although in this pre-release version, it looks like I cannot. The next thing that's really cool is this angle feature. So it'll adjust, presumably, the way it's measuring your hand movements based on the angle. I think the way I hold my mouse best matches the -10 on the top down. It's somewhere between 20, I think, and 10. We'll do 10. This is very interesting, but this is not the kind of video where we're gonna do a deep dive on this to see how it impacts gaming. Instead, we're gonna move on to lighting. Ooh, yeah. And my favorite RGB setting, off. This one's actually pretty useful because you can show how much battery life is left using the color, but no, I just want it off. I want as much battery life as possible. Next, we can calibrate. Oh, so you can do a manual calibration depending on your surface or choose from several pre-done ones. We're gonna go Hone Ace. Seems exactly like an LTT store desk pad, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Asus, you should have a LTT desk pad preset. You know what I'm saying. Next, we have our lift-off distance, which will change how much is compensating for the adjustments when you lift the mouse to move. Usually this is a slider, so it's interesting that it's just low or high. Power, we have 96% battery, that's great. We can set the light to flash when we're low on battery. Then we have our power saving mode where we can turn off the mouse faster. Next we have zone mode, which is sort of like a separate thing from your profile. It sort of overrides it. So you can set it exactly what you want so that no matter what in game, you can hit the button combo and get there real quick. And then we have our companion, which we need to download and is not really part of this. Oh, it has quick access to Copilot. No, this mouse was doing so good. There was no AI features. To be fair, they didn't advertise this. It's just kind of deep in a menu. I'll give that a pass. The last thing that I realized I didn't talk about is what will be in your retail box, which we will have listed here. And it includes some grip tape, which is pretty cool. I like the fit and finish of this mouse texture, but it's nice that they include that option. Know what I'm saying? Let's play some games. This feels very responsive, very snappy. That makes sense. We actually tested the mouse latency at our labs, and in wired mode, this is the second lowest latency we've ever measured. And in the wireless mode, it is among the top tier that we have tested. In its Bluetooth mode, it's normal Bluetooth, so don't use Bluetooth if you're planning on going gaming, but both wired and with the dongle, this is a really, really good, snappy, responsive mouse, and I can feel that. I can feel that pretty good. I did switch the liftoff distance to high because I was having some weird tracking issues when I was moving the mouse, and I'm having a better result. It's hard to comment on the performance of mice because so many of them are so good. And it's nice that this is a really solid option for you to explore. I'm just impressed that Asus is kind of clawing their way into the top tier gaming peripheral market. And I feel like this is a really solid option for you to explore and look more into. Go to a local store and see if you can try it, because so much of what makes a good mouse is just your comfort and your preference. But this one has the juice. This one has what it takes to be very, very good. The one important detail whenever you're making a purchase decision is price. It's $170, which is not out of the realm of other top tier gaming mice. And this has the juice, it has the good stuff, all the bells and whistles you could want, but it is not in the category of bang for your buck. And so if that's what you're looking for, this is the mouse for you. But if you're someone who's after the best stuff they got and you like purple, like me, this is a really good option to explore. So check out the ROG Harpe 2 Ace at the link in the video description. The Demon1 version is coming out in 2026, but you can get the regular black one right now. And if you wanna check out some of their other mice, they have a cool little campaign going on called the Find My Ace, which will help you find the ROG mouse that might best suit you. So check that out at the link in the video description. Just like you can check out this next video by clicking this video that just popped up somewhere that I just pointed.